r/IDontWorkHereLady, Episode 1. Serve me and my child. I don't know if this goes here, but I'll put it here anyway. So, backstory. I work in a healthy fast food sort of place in Australia. I only started a couple of months ago with weekend-only shifts as I still go to school. So I only work a 3-hour shift per week. This place I worked at is healthy fast food. So pre-made sandwiches, salads, baguettes with salads and meats in them, paninis, coffee and toast I guess. I don't remember the day or why we did this, but sometime in April, Australia had some sort of special day, and my company decided to give out free Vegemite toast to anyone here. So since we live in Australia, Vegemite is a natural for us. The line was very long. I was constantly going to the storage room, grabbing bread and serving customers non-stop. We have 2 toasters that are always on for banana bread and stuff, and we have 2 on the side as a substitute in case one breaks or something. We have all 4 toasters going on at once as there were many people ordering Vegemite sandwiches. I'm doing my work, and when the time came, I told my boss that my shift is over and left my company workers to the agony in serving customers. I sit down at my work tables, because I plan to meet my friends here and then we go to one of our other friends' house. I had my chicken avocado panini and my caramel milkshake I made just as I left and sat down and was listening to music. I was waiting for the text of my friends and saw a text that they said were about 10 minutes away, and went back to eating. Keep in mind that the store is still overflowing with customers. I was eating in peace while listening to my music, and someone yanks my earphones out. I assume that my friends are here, but I look up to see a woman and her child. I say, "What's wrong, Mom?" And she replies, "Do you work here?" "Yes, I do." "Well, serve us. We've been waiting in line for a long time." "Mom, my shift is over. You'll have to wait for one of my company workers to serve you, as I'm not there now." "I don't care. You work here and you can see how long the line is. Get up and serve us." "Mom, like I said before, my shift is over. You'll have to wait for someone else to serve you." "Fine. I'm going to speak to your manager." "Who's the manager here?" I gestured the lady towards my boss, and she spoke to him, and I want to say, my boss is a good person, even though he can be a little rough and mean sometimes. He always has my back. I listen carefully and I hear him say the exact same thing I said to her earlier. I see my friends and dash towards them and ask them to leave the shop with me as I don't want to be included in this madness anymore. I come to work the next week and ask my boss what happened with that lady. He said that she threatened to sue himself and me because I wasn't doing my proper job serving customers. But apparently in the end, my boss threatened to call the cops, and she just left. He apologized to me as of how I had to go through that only being here about 5 shifts. I told him not to worry about it, and just went on with my day. Innocent mistake. Unlike most of these stories, I find it comical I look like I work everywhere. Today my husband and I were at a hardware store trying to make a decision on pavers. A young girl walks up and asks if I know where the wheelbarrows are. I tell her I'm sorry and do not know where they are located, at which point her mother laughs and says she doesn't work here. Today I decided to wear a shirt from a local brewery that says "Work sucks, drink beer." That would be a very interesting work uniform. This confirms my theory that I have a customer service face. Even children think I work where I shop. 3am sushi. I work at 24/7 gas station graveyard shift. I often get weird calls at night, but none quite as strange as the one I am about to tell you. It's around 3am and the phone rings. I answer cheerfully. "Gas station name, how may I help you?" "Yes. What are your specials?" This confuses me as specials is a weird word to use for items discounted, as well as who calls a gas station to price check. "I'm sorry, do you mean our discounted items?" "I am not sure, but I can go check for you," I say as I go to look to see what's on sale. "Never mind the special, I want a spider roll and a side of rice." Me completely confused. "Mom, this is a gas station, we don't sell sushi." "What do you mean you don't sell sushi? This is sushi place, isn't it?" "I think you have the wrong number. There is no sushi places around here open at this time." "Oh, The person on the phone says confused. Sorry, but this is a gas station name. I informed her. This is gas station name. Oh. And she hangs up. No yelling. No arguing. Just pure confusion on both sides. Who orders sushi at 3 am anyways? And where can I get some? Lady asks me if I'm movie security cause laser pointers are annoying. Sorry if this doesn't exactly fit the usual tone in this subreddit. Yes, a lady did ask me if I was working security, but honestly, I volunteered myself and you'll soon see why. Some friends and I were at a public movie night in the local park watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Someone was messing around with a laser pointer about a third into the movie and would not stop. I drew the line when it had been a solid 5 minutes of fast circles in the center of the screen and then extra emphasis on a character's penis. Like, dude, there are lots of children in this park. What are you doing? There was security at this event, but I thought I'd give them a hand since I'd seen the movie before and I felt bad for my friend who hadn't. The laser was super distracting and had been going on and off for long enough. So I told my friends I was going hunting. I made a wide circle around the front of the audience, outside of the marked lines and behind the screen so I wouldn't bother people and could see the crowd. I heard a few people loudly complain about the laser. One lady came up to ask me if I was security, cause I was wearing an FB sweatshirt and I suppose that means I'm automatically promoted, and asked me if I was going to stop the laser. I said wasn't security, but I was looking for the laser so I could tell security where it was. She thanked me and went back to her family. It was honestly challenging to spot the laser because a lot of cell phones have red lights on them. Still, I knew with some patience I would find them eventually. Once I was on the right side of the crowd, I noticed the laser appeared less frequently and would dart behind the screen to the right side, indicating that I was getting close. By this point they had been messing with the screen for over 10 minutes and more people were vocally getting annoyed. Then it suddenly stopped, presumably cause they could see me looking. I moved further back, knowing an idiot that neurotic would not be able to resist. Sure enough, I watched as not 5 feet in front of me the kid, 14 to 16, flashed the laser from the screen to her friend's back. She didn't see that I was still there. I stood there, arms crossed, partly trying to decide what to do next and partly wanting to be absolutely sure I had seen what I thought I saw because I didn't want to get the wrong kids kicked out. I'm a massage therapist with beefy arms. Combined with nighttime and an FB hoodie, I probably looked a little intimidating. The kids noticed me and started getting agitated. They yelled at me, telling me I couldn't stand on the far side of the line and wanting to know if I was staring at them. I told them I was just watching the movie. They challenged me again, clearly uncomfortable with me there. This screamed guilty to me, so I just said, "Look, just stop it with the laser pointer. It's not cute and it's not fair to the people who haven't seen the movie. It wasn't us. Dude, I just saw your friend use it. Knock it off." I made sure this exchange was loud to hopefully crowd shame them into compliance, and it worked. The one nice sounding kid in the group said, "Fine. We promise." They then said things as I walked away, but I couldn't hear them and probably didn't want to. I then found security and told them their location and emphasized that the teenagers had promised to stop. To their credit, the laser didn't reappear the whole time I was looking for security. Whether they actually stopped for good or were kicked out on principle after that, I don't know, but the laser didn't reappear for the rest of the movie. TL drive laser pointers at movies are annoying and anyone would act as security to get you to stop. My wholesome I don't work here, lady. This was a few months ago, so dialogue is not exact. Cast, NL, nice lady and me. I was at the Better Grocery Store's produce section. There were 2 by my house. One was slightly cheaper but had terrible produce, while the other was more expensive but had good produce. Looking for some shallots and mushrooms for a mushroom soup, and I saw a lady staring at the dressings looking confused. So I asked, "Do you need any help?" I'm a trained chef and know pretty much everything about food because I research like crazy when a subject fascinates me. NL, yes please. I'm trying to figure out a good salad to make to go with dinner. Me, what's the main? NL, steak and sweet potatoes. I then help her find everything to make a salad that would complement the main after finding out what seasonings she's using. It was a wild greens salad with shallots and raspberry vinaigrette. NL, thank you so much. What's your name? I want to put in a good review for you. Me, Reen, but I don't work here. NL, looking shocked. But you knew all that stuff. Me, I just love food. She blushed, thanked me again, and we parted ways. It still makes me glad that I was able to help someone who was so nice. Not my department. Also am new. This is from a while ago. And technically I did work there minus but not there. Entirely wrong department. Mobile. New to posting. I had recently started a new job. And my only formal training was about how not to get the overall company sued and that no phone call should go unanswered. The department main line rang on all the department phones. I caught one that was about to go to voicemail. Good afternoon, department. How may I help you? It wasn't the first, and really so many thousands ago I should have forgotten it. It was a very polite young man asking questions about entirely different department. Per training, I wasn't allowed to even try to answer his questions, as they were for a completely different department, and if I answered incorrectly there could be trouble. So I offered to transfer him to someone in the correct department to get his questions answered. Little had I realized I was on a three-way call. No, do not transfer us. Answer the questions. It took a moment for me to recognize that there was another person on the call, but again I mentioned the department I worked for and that I would be happy to transfer them to the correct line. No, we called and you will answer. I wanted to tell this other man that they had called the wrong number and that the correct number was likely on the same webpage as the one they called. But customer service, right? So again I said what department I was, not what they wanted, and that I could transfer them to the correct one for their inquiries. Cats now indicate shouting. No, you will answer my son's questions. You work there? Okay, technically yes, I worked there. But legally I couldn't answer the questions asked, even if I wasn't new. I tried to explain again that my department could not help with their questions, but I could transfer them to the one that could. And again, no, do not transfer us. You will tell us right now. I heard the son trying to tell his dad that clearly they should just be transferred, but the father would have none of it. He started yelling at his son, saying he was weak and going to let people walk all over him with that attitude. Again, he insisted I answer the questions I was not even allowed to answer, all while still yelling. Yet again, offered to transfer them to the right department. My supervisor walked by, heading to lunch, in the meantime, and gave me a look, as though asking if something was wrong. I have a great customer service voice, but it does show on my face when I'm frustrated. So I repeated the general inquiry and again offered the correct department. My supervisor nodded minus it is what I was supposed to do. No, answer us now. He was so loud that my supervisor heard. Before I could say anything, he asked for my name, my title, and my job duties. Even the most basic overview, or even my title, should make it clear that I'm not in the right department. But this guy took it very differently. I still don't know what word he clung to as meaning I could help with something I literally couldn't even discuss. Again he demanded I answer his son's questions minus a son that was still quietly asking his dad to just let me transfer them. This went on for a surprisingly long time without me even getting to speak. Then he started being overtly mean. He started with basic questions like, do you work at place I work at? And isn't your job to help customers? Then he asked how long I worked there. Stupid me answered honestly, and he took 2 weeks as I should know everything about everything there. Then he called me a retarded slut, and asked to speak to my manager. My supervisor was still standing near me. I offered to either transfer him to the department they needed or to my supervisor. He said supervisor, so I did. I'm not sure he ever got called back. I've never heard from him again. But I bet if he did, she tore him a new one. Edit. TL Drive. Polite young man calls. I offer to transfer him to the correct department. Rude father intervenes. Just came from the gym. I went to the gym to run today and then needed to pick up a pair of shoes at a department store next door. I was wearing a black tank with an open back, black leggings, and running shoes and noticeably had just been working out. Messy forward/sweaty hair, etc. A woman stopped me and said, "Do you work in shoes?" I just said no and kept it moving. Pretty uneventful, but amusing to me nonetheless. Facepalm. Went to bar and asked a customer for a drink. Okay. Went for a drink at a small place. New for me. A young guy came in carrying a drink. Asked him, not in the way of Karen or Ken, "Get me a drink." He went to a table, placed his drink, went to the bar and brought me a drink. Realized my mistake when he sat down to have his drink, and asked him, in Hindi, "You don't work here, do you?" His reply, "L.